Yeah, so anyways, this is going to be a little instructional video about how to take care of your Boosted board. Definitely not sponsored or anything that Boosted recommends. This is just something that I've noticed and the best practices I've kind of observed over the last couple of months of riding it. Okay, so here you have your Boosted board. I just came back from a ride. As you can see, it's still a little bit dirty. The wheels are always going to get dirty. Nothing you can do about that. So initially what I like to do is I'll just take a regular rag and just make sure to wipe off the deck and right around the battery covers and right around the components covers. A lot of times you might get sticky goo or just some water on it, and you want to really make sure that's kind of wiped off. The next most important thing is when you're riding at these tops of these high speeds, you get a lot of dust that kind of just sits within the motors here, and it can be damaging in the long run. So definitely make sure that you want to clean that out. The way that I found most effective is just taking a regular air duster, something like you'd use for your keyboard, and just kind of putting it right on top, if you want to get in here, right on top of the belt. And if you look right here, right on top of the belt, and give a little, you can kind of see a little dust come out. And do this to the other side. Yeah, there you see a little dust. So just give it a little spray on each side. There we go. And then the other thing you want to do is kind of get right here within the motors. You can see there's all these like little open crevices that lead to the coils, and you definitely want to make sure this is cleaned out. So just spray a little bit in here and a little bit in here. So that's kind of the main way to just keep your motor clean. And then right after that, you can just give it a little wash down around the sides. If you noticed, you just want to make sure this really stays dust free. As you can see, I've kind of sustained a little bit of damage, and that's okay. These are actually completely made to take the damage, so the motor doesn't actually take any of the full blunt force. So that's why you see the scrapes here, and that's completely fine. And these are eventually going to be, I believe, replaceable parts. But the main thing you want to do is every time after you ride, you want to make sure to also clean your bearings in here as well. So if you can see, look right inside of every wheel. Of course, you have these bearings, and a lot of the time, so you see there's a lot of dust in here. Just give it a little spray as well. So a lot of times these bearings will just a massive amount of dust and dirt, and this can be really negatively effective over the long term. So you definitely want to make sure you want to clean those out. Sometimes I use a duster. I've also found either using the end of a toothbrush or a toothpick or even a ear swab. It can really help you get around the inside of those bearings to really kind of keep your board nice and clean to kind of work at optimal levels. The big thing though is because of the fact that the battery is completely enclosed and you just keep the surface clean there, and the electronic components are completely enclosed, so you can just keep that there. It's just making sure you keep the dust and the dirt away from the motor here. And if you get a little close up on the motor there, you can kind of see that for the most part here, it's very, it's pretty clean, and you want to keep that dust free. And what I found is just giving it a little spray and making sure that dust doesn't settle, because over time it's just going to stick. It's going to start grinding up the gears internally, and you're going to have a problem 6 months down the road. Anyways, this is just a short little cleaning video. If you look at some of my previous posts, there's a huge assortment of before you ride things that you need to check, such as to see if your bearings are on correctly, to see if you're hearing any squeaks or any stutters when you're running the motor beforehand. And hopefully, if we just look here, turn this on really quick, and seems to be running fine. So I guess I'm doing a good job for now. This is just a little overview of how to just keep your board clean. Make sure that it's consistently running at the optimal levels. You don't want to get it, run in some dirt, not clean it out, and then have to send it back a couple months later because something happened. Anyways, thanks again, and if you want to see more reviews or certain description of anything about the Boosted board, I'd be more than happy to give you an overview. Just leave a message in the comment section, and I'll make sure to take it under advisement. Thanks.